Hey, hey, hey.
Welcome to Mike and Tom daily live stream on 511 Media. How are we doing today, Tom?
I'm doing great here in Tennessee. We've got some nice weather going on. I'm loving and digging that. We had a 75-degree day yesterday, Mike. So I got kept track with my mother-in-law who still lives in Bakersfield and some friends that were experiencing quite the heat yesterday.
So we couldn't even get our AC down to 75.
Wow. You know, the other day when we were driving over from California to Tennessee, we went through Arizona, we went through New Mexico, we went through Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And it was so hot in some of those areas, Mike, the AC blowing full blast on us wouldn't keep us cool. So I haven't experienced that kind of heat in a long time. So we had one area that was 117. I don't know if that was New Mexico or Arizona, but it was hot.
Oh yeah, it's hot out here in the desert. That's for dang sure. But hey, if you're out there watching, we got a dynamic show we're bringing to you, and happy to be here. So let's roll that logo.
That's us, Mike. I want to see a cowboy hat again. Most people don't realize that you wear a cowboy hat most of the time.
Yeah,
you know, it's only I think on our shows where you wear the hat.
Well, it's hard to wear. It's hard to wear that when you got lights and everything else, and it blocks the light. So I got to wear a regular ball cap when I'm doing that. But yeah.
But that logo is depicting how most people see you when you go to a conference. People will recognize Mike by his cowboy hat. So it's a good look. So is a ball cap, Mike. So is a good ball cap.
I like it, but I like the colorful. It's blue. So I was looking last night to what other ball caps can I get. But as we get in the show, I just want to give a quick shout out to our show sponsor, Covenant Coffee. We bring them to you all the time, but you can go get them online, covenantcoffee.org. They're across the street from us. If you're in Bakersfield, California, they're at Mohawk in California, in the Stockdale Tower. They're on North Chester, and I believe they have one other location. The one over here across the street, though, is called Cloud9 by Covenant Coffee, so it's slightly different. But these guys do amazing things in the community. They support emancipated foster youth and give them jobs, life skills, and everything else. And so not only do they have great coffee, they have K-Cups, they have bags, they have pounds, they have fresh brew inside their stores. They have all of the things. They ship nationwide. So go check them out, covenantcoffee.org, or if you're local to Bakersfield, there's 2 locations. So thank you, guys.
You'll never go wrong supporting groups that have a heart to help the disadvantaged. I think that's something that Mike, you and I have seen all through the years, whether it be Teen Challenge, whether it be the Rescue Mission, whether it be a food bank, whether it be Convoy for Hope, or just any of those groups that if you support those groups, they're helping people. So it's a win-win. That's
right. Yep. So what's our first story for today, Tom?
You know, Mike, I was sharing with you yesterday that I went to our builders, a place of business here in Tennessee. It's called Summertown, Tennessee, but they're called Summertown Builders. I was very impressed, and it lightened my heart. It really did. And like you and I are spiritual guys. It's 511 Media Group, First Thessalonians 5:11. We know the work that you do for the saints and that you continue to do. So we're spiritual guys. If you don't know anything about 511 Media Group, faith, family, and freedom in Christ. So as I walked in, this first picture was actually taped to the receptionist's desk, and it says prayer at 6:55.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So right but I think what it is telling customers they can join in, but also telling employees that they can join in. When I got saved, Mike, a lot of our audience knows that I was worked for an international agribusiness firm, Sunwerland International, and I don't mind mentioning the name because they're still around. But when I found faith in Christ, I started a Bible study. And I remember the human resource director at the time was David Aquino. Dave is now the human resource for Jameyer Vineyards. But he had to come into my office and tell me of something that just shocked me. He says, Tom, you can't do a Bible study in your office. I go, why? He goes, well, we got to keep a little separation with people's faith and the workplace. I was like, oh, now, Mike, that was new to me. That was brand new to me. And I was like, wow, where can I do this? He goes, well, any place but here. So at that time, we had a lot of people that were coming just for prayer and just a little bit of the word. So we just moved it outside. So there used to be over by the subway over on California Avenue, our office building used to be there, and there's an oil well derrick that would go up and down back there. I think the oil well's still there. I don't know if it's in production, but we would gather there, rain or shine, and we had prayer. So that was something that really inspired me, because they're apparently not having to conform to anything that is being passed down, because they're doing it right there in their office. And I love that.
Tom, I don't know how you can even separate the two, because it's who I am. It's who you are. It's who, if you're walking with the Lord, I think it's who we are as a people group. And if I don't believe that can be compartmentalized. I mean, I know a lot of people do, but I think if you're really walking by faith, it's permeating every area of your life. I mean, we named the company specifically in that way because that's how strongly we believe in it. But I remember back in the very beginning, when we first started our first company, I had this note, and I don't know if I shared this with you before or not, but I had this note, and I kind of wrote it to myself, and it just said pray first. It was a little sticky note, and I put it on the computer screen. But then when we started hiring people, someone came to me and was like, hey, you know what? I love this, because like this job can be really stressful, and we have a lot going on, and sometimes we have people that get mad at us or whatever. And the fact that you have this up here is really encouraging to me. And as we continue to grow our team, that's something that I've always wanted to be a foundational part of our company, because to me, like, I don't think you can separate your Christianity from business. Business is something you do. A job is something you do. Christianity is something we are. So I love that they have this here, because that just speaks volumes about those same people. I'm sure they have very, very similar values and the things that they believe and hold dear to.
If you go out to their Facebook and you go out and look at the reviews, people love this company. One of the reasons I went with them, because my wife really likes people's opinions, and my wife will keep saying there isn't a bad one out there. But Mike, it's also interesting, and our audience should know this, is that this morning and yesterday morning, and I think the day before, as we're hiring new people, Renata Da Silva has come on to help us. She's putting together a daily devotion, and it really spoke to my heart today. And it was one of those things that let us know we can't separate. And it's what you just said, Mike. You cannot separate the physical us from the spiritual us, because everything that's going on around us is affecting both of those things. In the scriptural side of it is that circumstances come into our lives, and we aren't shielded from any of those, Mike, right? I mean,
I think what was cool was, one of the very first thing, and we know Renata's a leader, right? And I've been telling my wife this so many times, that we love, first of all, we love Renata, but we love the team. We're all believers, and I don't know if it will always be that way or not. Who knows? As the company continues to grow, but I think people that are at least open to that, because I think we're so open with it, it's going to be hard to be on our team without that. But one of the first things she did, because she's a leader, is she started off the very first meeting we had as a team with the devotion. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this, because I've been telling, I've been talking with Ludavia about, I love the fact that you and I will get on the phone, and we don't always agree about everything, and I don't think we should always agree about everything, but the fact that we spend at least probably 20% of the time, Tom, would you say, maybe more, in prayer, and this isn't to brag, guys, but we spend about 20% of the time in prayer about the issues, because I think the 20% that we spend there is more effective than the 80% we spend talking about it. Because what does the Bible say? The plans of man, man will make a plan in his heart, but God directs his step. Tom, you're the ex-pastor, so you have more biblical wisdom than I do, but I have the practical knowledge, as do you. But I have the practical knowledge, and I know I have the scripture in my heart.
Well, Mike, you did a perfect job. The Bible even says that the Lord directs a king's will as a rock around water around a rock. so it lets us know that the direction we may want to go is contrary, but we will end up where we are. Well, Mike, I think it might be a great time, and since I'm in Tennessee here, and I don't want to screw up your flow there, but it might be a good time. And I don't know if Layla can step out and maybe come by you, because she's a great example of that. Because 10 days ago, we had different producers in our studio, but today we have somebody who's very apt, and she's a student at Grand Canyon University. Can she step out, Mike, and just wave or something? Because I think it's a perfect example.
If you're willing, Layla.
Yeah, you can bring that picture. Yeah. She come out there. Yeah, Layla.
Tom likes to put everybody on the spot a little bit. I'm used to it, but not everybody's used to it.
Well, but you know what it is, though, Mike? It's the fact that it's true.
Go ahead and say hi.
There you go.
Hi.
Hey, she's doing a great job, and hey, so glad to have you on the team. But Mike, it's true, and we need to bring Layla on our show to even paramount that.
Layla's a phenomenal storyteller, and I would love to see her start her podcast at some point. And she's talked about it too. But what I will say is, so we had someone before, Tom, since you brought this up, we had, we've had a great family in our group. We had Josh Garcia, who's the son of one of our podcast hosts, United Opposition, Scott Garcia, and he left on great terms, and he left in a great place. He got kind of his dream job, and I was very proud of him and excited for him. But in his transition, he also made a point to help us find someone to replace him too. So thank you, Josh, for all your help, and thank you for bringing Layla to us.
But Mike, this is hopefully if you're out there someplace, this is what we try to bring. And we used to bring it weekly with our show, but now we're doing it daily. But if you're out there and you aren't trusting into something bigger than yourself, then you're probably wasting your time. Because what Mike and I are saying and showing you is that it worked out in our lives. We had a fantastic production team, and their hopes and dreams were being realized by getting their dream job. But God never leaves one base uncovered, does he, Mike?
No. And as we're, Tom, on this topic, we have something we want to promote. And Layla, do we have the video? If not, then we can just talk about it. But do we have the video from Believer Summit? I don't think we do. We'll post that out online for you guys. But Believer Summit taking place July 26th to 28th. Our good friend Pierre Wilson is one of the guys leading the charge on that. I'll be there. Tom unfortunately won't be there, but he's got some awesome things happening in his life. Tom, if you want to share, you don't have to share. But that are kind of precluding him from being able to join us.
I can definitely share. My daughter Tessa, who's married to an amazing man, part of our group, part of our host. He has a kind of a weekly show called Danny's Wildlife
Adventure or something like that. Yeah.
Yes. But Danny Jimenez. So my daughter Tessa Jimenez and Danny Jimenez are expecting their first child, my wife's and my first grandchild.
Well, congratulations, Tom. Congratulations to Tessa. Congratulations to Danny. We love the family. So
yeah, and so it's just we're waiting any day. I mean, I think the 26 is full term, but I think she's been having some contractions. So
yep. So for those reasons, which are all great reasons, Tom's not going to be able to join us on the 26th through the 28th in West Palm Beach, Florida for the Believer Summit. We're going to have dynamic speakers. But as part of our relationship with Turning Point Faith, we have a few awesome opportunities, and some of y'all are going to get to take advantage of this. So we have, if you want to comment below hashtag 511 media. We'll make sure that you're entered for this, but we're giving away multiple tickets for Believer Summit VIP passes, which is a backstage pass. Tom and I have gotten to take advantage of those VIP passes several times. You're going to get to rub shoulders with a lot of high profile people, all the speakers and everything else. But the awesome part that I think about Charlie and the Turning Point organization and all the speakers is that they very much have a heart for Jesus and very much have a heart for influencing the nation and the rest of the world for Christ, and doing that by pouring into pastors. They started by pouring into pastors. Now they're working with the congregations as well. So there's going to be several of our friends over there. You guys take advantage of that. Hashtag 51125. You'll be entered in the drawing for one of the VIP tickets that we're giving away. And if you want to just go out there and purchase your pass, the code that you can use over there is 51125.
25% off.
Yep, you get 25% off of any of the tickets. But hashtag 511 media to get entered in the drawing for the VIP, which is at least a $300 value. And I think y'all are going to love it. I know several people that I've connected here with in Bakersfield that are doing that. But we'll be sharing that video also out. We have some technicalities that we won't cover on air, but that are precluding us from being able to share that. But we'll be pushing that out here probably later today.
So, one of the great things is we're going to be doing a podcast starting in August 20th, Mike. I don't know if you saw that email I sent you yesterday, Mike.
I did.
Yeah.
I shared it with Renata too.
Yeah, we've got a Pierre Wilson, who is going to be a speaker at the Believer Summit. We do a podcast for Pierre starting August 20th. It's called Pierre Wilson Unchained, and we have Brandon Tatum.
The officer.
If you don't know who Brandon is, he's a international speaker. He's our first guest with Pierre Wilson, and we're really excited because we've got a great guest list that we're working on.
A world-class guest list.
Yep. And there again, if we're doing another one for Mike Bedreau, Tulare County Sheriff that was running for the congressional spot that Kevin McCarthy left empty, and he just stopped his election campaign for that spot and endorsed Vince Fong, which I thought was big. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and we do. So
we do, and we have some cool stuff going on in the company too. Hiring, as Tom said, but we're going to be providing some premium content. When I say premium, it's actually not a premium to you guys, but it's exclusive for subscribers. Subscription's free. You'll be able to get that from our website. If you want to learn more about that, you can drop a hashtag premium in the comments on whatever platform you're on. We'll make sure and share that out. We'll be sharing that out in shorts and other formats as well. But we have some really cool stuff. Tom and I are doing this show every day to propel this company and the mission of Christ and expanding the kingdom forward.
And other people's voices, because that's our big thing. And I've actually...
Billy Elliott. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, Billy. Miss you, brother. Hey, I've pulled one of the things that I've done daily off of TikTok. And I did that because I got in trouble when I shared with them my honest opinions about the gender
Can I say this, Tom? I think you shared the honest truth, not your opinion. And we have the what do they call them? I'm just going to call them the truth police that are out there trying to tear down the voices that are speaking the truth, because we live in a world of lies and the censorship media. Tom, is it too soon to roll into to the Ben? Because I think there's a perfect segue into that story.
Well, I just want to tell people that I'm going to bring back my morning pump, which was about mind, body, and spirit. It was just a real short, but I'm bringing it back for our subscribers. And I've got about 20 of them filmed, and I'm going to drop them in bunches. And so they're just kind of a daily or weekly or multiple daily, depending on how you want them. But I'm going to put it behind our subscription. And then we don't charge anything for our subscription, because that means that's the content that you want to hear.
Yeah, and again, if you're interested in that content, just drop a hashtag premium in the in the comments, and we'll make sure that we reach out and get you on that. We're still building up some pieces of the back end, but Tom, as we're talking about them censoring you, and they've censored us. We've been deplatformed before and some other stuff, but we've rebuilt thanks glory to God. We have our friend Ben Shapiro, who's been appearing before the House Judiciary Committee and pushing back against the woke media and, frankly, the corrupt government that's behind the woke media. But the truth police, or what do they call them? The fact checkers, the unfact checkers, because they don't want the truth out. But I'm going to post some of his stuff or just share it probably on our page later today. But he gave an awesome speech about how the corrupt politicians are in lockstep with the corrupt liberal media, including some of the platforms you guys may be watching this on right now. So I'm going to be a little bit careful there. But I think Ben's fighting for us without being too cliche. Truth, justice, in the American way, Captain America. But he's fighting for you guys and for the truth to get out. I'm very much a big fan and believer of everything that they're doing over there at the Daily Wire. And I know Tom is, and I know there's some connections there. So.
Yeah, my daughter is a talent director for Daily Wire. And that's not a secret, because if you go to her LinkedIn account, you'll see that. And if anybody knows about her, that they do that. So we do have a very close connection with them. So, but I like that, Mike. I like what Ben said. And it's interesting that if you watch that, because they live streamed it yesterday, they actually I forgot the Senate members or the congressional member that let Ben speak and told Ben, "I'm not going to censor you."
Can I read a little bit of what he started with? Okay, so let me see if I can get this opened up. Okay, here we go. So he was talking to Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Nadler, members of the committee. Good morning. We are in the midst of a trust crisis in the world of media. This is because so many in the legacy media simply lie in order to preserve left-leaning narratives. To take just the most recent example, we were told by the legacy media that Joe Biden was just fine. That's a big story, and I think everybody's probably well aware of that.
Mike, I almost spit my coffee out of my mouth. They said he was just fine.
Right. For years, they said that. Anyway, anyone who questioned his health and mental fitness was trafficking in cheap fakes. Yeah, we all knew the truth. If you're watching this show, you probably knew the truth. Or if you're listening to this show, you probably knew the truth. And I'll be sharing this out again on our social all the platforms. But then Joe Biden went out and engaged in a full-scale mental collapse. You guys seen it. You guys seen the debates. It was frankly not just expected, but it was frankly scary, because our leader of our country, who's the U.S. has been long time for many years, decades, known as the world leader, engaged in a full-scale mental collapse on stage in front of hundreds of millions of people across the globe, including several of our enemies who guaranteed they're watching this stuff. So we can see why Americans, at least Americans who aren't Democrats, don't trust the media. The question then isn't why the legacy media have lost Americans' trust. The answer to this is obvious. They don't deserve our trust.
They don't.
The question is why. Despite that loss of trust, the legacy media continues to gain share in the advertising market.
Mike, you said something.
But I think he said some powerful things. And thank you, Renata, for dropping that link, by the way. We appreciate Renata. Love Renata. She's a valued member of our team, Director of Strategic Sponsorships.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I thought you said something very important. We got to see it with our own eyes.
We did.
And
our enemies need to see it with their own eyes.
That was the thing. And I even appreciate President Donald Trump, who said after Joe Biden told him he would beat him in golf, threw out $1 million bet. Mike, I'm not a betting man, you know me. But man, to throw out $1 million and throws down on somebody, and he came out and said, "Oh, it's just part of your rhetoric." I think when you put money up, it's more than your rhetoric. I think that bad boy Donald Trump can play some golf. And I think
did you see that Trump challenged him to an 18-hole round of golf?
Yes.
And then Joe said, "Oh no, I don't want to do it." But more or less, that's the gist of it. That's a Mike Harvey version of summarized. But yeah, that's what happened. Trump said, "Okay, I'll take you up on that," and Joe said, "Never mind. I can't barely walk, let alone drive." They probably pulled his license. Nobody knows that story, but yeah.
He has to go to bed early now, and he's canceling meetings with world leaders because it doesn't fit between his 10 and 4 schedule. I wish, Mike, you and I had a schedule like that. I think we were talking early this morning, California time, and you were out of bed.
Well, so, I think I do have a schedule like that. I sleep between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m.
I like that. So yes, I do like what Ben said. And I like what you said, Mike. He's fighting for our freedom.
Amen.
Not just Daily Wire's freedom or Ben Shapiro's freedom. It's our freedom. And there again, they've been through it just like we've been through it, Mike. They've been deplatformed. They've been demonetized from these platforms. And it's not because, and I love, we all know that Ben was a rapper. Ben Shapiro.
You guys haven't checked that out. That's actually Dean, my 6-year-old. For those of you guys who don't know Dean, Tom obviously knows Dean.
I love that.
That's his favorite song. Every time he gets in the car, he said, "Can I hear the I don't care about your feelings," or whatever he says, something like that. And that's not the name of the song. The name of the song is
My facts. Your facts. My facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah. But the name of the song is Facts by Ben Shapiro, but go check it out. Anyway, yeah. So every time Dean gets in the car, he's like, "Hey, can we listen? I don't care about your feelings."
Well, Mike, if our group out there doesn't realize this, we're living in this age right now where we're hearing the word COVID again. We're even hearing the word masks again. And if anybody buys into that, and I'm not saying if you're ill that you shouldn't wear a mask, because you should. I mean, you need to protect your health, but healthy people don't need to worry about this because they have lied to us so much. I shared that on our show yesterday where Chris Cuomo called Joe Rogan out and said he was lying, and they had proven facts now that the things that Joe Rogan was talking about, which was ivermectin and some of the other treatments that they now know work and they endorse, but he was calling him a liar, but he won't apologize now. See, that's to me, that's a character flaw.
Well, that was, I think, and I might get struck down or whoever. I do not care. If any of y'all know me, I don't care. But that was just part of the pandemic back in 2020. And Joe came out not that long ago and said there's another pandemic coming. We'll see if that actually happens. But that was all part of the pandemic. And I think that leads us nicely into our conversation about the voter ID bill, which just passed in the House. And I know we have a slide about that. If you can bring it up, Layla. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's probably that one. Just passed in the House, and it was a very, very partisan vote. There was 5 Democrats voting for this. Why are the Democrats against voter ID? Gee, let me think. Biden let in over the course of the last 4 years, and it's ramped up since he took office. 11 million illegal immigrants, and these aren't just people from Mexico, which Tom, as well as I do, we have a big heart for the people in Mexico. In fact, we have several ministries, which at some point we'll be sharing with you guys, because we'd love to have you guys involved in this as well. We're going to be planning some trips. We're building a computer lab. We're investing in Mexico down there because we believe in the community, and others around the world. Not just that. There's several stuff. Anyway, I'm digressing. But the thing is, it's not just people from Mexico that have come in illegally. It's our enemies that have come in, our enemies that just saw Joe Biden mentally collapse on a world stage in front of everybody, including most of the U.S. But our people, 11 million immigrants illegally came into the U.S. over the course of the last 4 years, and more or less, if you have half a brain out there, which we know our president doesn't, you and Kamal is even worse, but that's a whole nother story as well. But their whole goal the entire time, by the way, it's not like they just thought of it at the last minute. They're like, oh, let's let it, oh, you know what's a good idea? Let me get them to vote. No, that was their entire plan, was to get the illegals to vote. And so why do you think that the Democrats were very much, except for 5 of them, were very much against this House bill to enact voter ID? Because they want the illegals to vote. But guess what? That's the only way. Well, that and maybe some cheating and maybe some other things that they can win, because Trump is leading in almost every single swing state. It's going to be a demolition derby come election day, November 3rd, 4th. I forget exactly which day it is, but here coming up in just a few months. And Republicans are going to win by a landslide, but they're terrified of this because of the not just the president being changed, because everybody knows the president. Even George Clooney's come out and said the president needs to be changed.
He did. George.
The liberal media has come out and said the president needs to be changed. All of the actors and several congressmen and senators and everything else. I just saw the only one that I saw last night that was loyal, John Fetterman, but he's a whole different story. I actually kind of like the guy, even though he's liberal. They're touting this thing about Project 2025, which we'll get to later in the show if we have an opportunity. But the Democrats are very much against the voter ID because they want the illegals to be able to vote, which frankly, it's not that hard for them to vote with the way some of these things are set up in other countries right now, some of the states, including mine, California. All the Republicans voted for this voter ID bill. And I think, frankly, nobody outside, because again, many of the illegal immigrants were from our enemies. Several of them have been already identified as terrorists. Several of them are criminals, and we haven't deported them. And several of them have murdered, raped, killed, everything else. And we're going to let these people vote for who should be our president? That's absolutely insane.
You know, Mike, it's crazy. It's not even a secret anymore. And I know the legacy media, which Ben was talking about, tries to keep a lid on the crime that is rampant, that are being committed by the illegal immigrants that are coming in, and they've been arrested in one state, and then they go to another state, and what do? They commit it again, unfortunately, against a citizen. And a lot of families are grieving over lost daughters. It's terrible what you would have to go through, and know that your country, you're in law enforcement, which are sworn to protect and serve you, are involved with this. It's crazy how they are. And then they don't even want to talk about it, Mike. Isn't that something else? They don't even want to talk about it. They don't want to acknowledge it. They will call them they call them undocumented citizens. They're illegal immigrants. They came in illegally. And what they're afraid of now, Mike, is that now that they're here, Trump is planning on getting them out. And we know so many people, even Renata, even the people we knew back in Bakersfield, who did it the right way.
That's right.
Came in, and there is a way to do it the right way. You don't have to just kick the doors open. You know what Joe Biden and the Democrats are afraid of? They're afraid of the things that Blexit stands for. Pierre Wilson, the black exit from the Democratic Party, because they haven't done diddly squat for any of you in 60 years. I love it when people are like Brandon Smith, Steve Davis, not Brandon Smith, Brandon Tatum and Steve Davis are talking about, we keep voting the same way. Why are we expecting different results? Then you have the Lexit program that Jesse is doing over there. You know, Mike, it's crazy when you see these communities coming in, starting to think differently and going, what have they done for us?
Well, because the truth is, the legacy media, which we just talked about with Ben in front of the House Judiciary Committee, is in lockstep with the Democrats. The Democrats have been running this scam on the minorities, which sadly, and I will say the truth, I wouldn't say minorities are any less than any other majority group or whatever. Most people don't pay attention to what's going on. They only see the headlines, if that, and so they vote a certain way because and I would love to see Renata come on and talk about this, or Pierre when we launch his show, because we know that they're going to. They just, hey, you're this ethnic group, or you're this people group, or you're this minority. This is how we vote. Right, we just vote for Democrats because that's a scam that they've been perpetrated and pushed down their throat for generations, and that's all they know because they don't pay attention to the media, which is okay. We understand people have jobs and people are busy. It's not like it's kind of like my job, Tom's job, and several others that are in the media to keep you guys informed and entertained, hopefully as well. But to make sure we know what's going on, and the Democrats have been pushing this, frankly, if you look at its roots and you look at abortion, you look at all of these other things, this racist agenda down everybody's throats, keeping people still to this day through other means and through mental manipulation in bondage and in slavery for generations, decades, 60, 70, 80 years. And frankly, the people are starting to wake up. People are starting to get tired of it. But the thing is, you guys got to pay attention. And I've been pushing this, and I'm going to say this again because I think it's very important. Get out and vote early. And I'm going to keep pushing that agenda. And Tom, I know you're like, you already said that. Well, guess what? You've heard me say it, but the viewers haven't heard me say it because maybe they didn't watch yesterday. Maybe they won't watch tomorrow, but they're going to start seeing this more and more. I'm pushing this. Get out and vote early. Use your mail-in ballots, because guaranteed the Democrats are going to use the mail-in ballots. Guaranteed they're going to be shenanigans. Guaranteed there's going to be an October surprise. And none of you guys should be surprised by any of these things. But get out, use your mail-in ballots, vote early, because something's going to happen, and a certain percentage of us are going to be kept from voting on that day. Ludavia and I had to go at 10 o'clock at night the last election and vote because just our days are busy. We're busy, and frankly, if any of you guys are out there, and I think there probably are some that are entrepreneurs and business people, Tom, we keep a busy schedule, so. I'm including you in that because you're an entrepreneur as well in this. But we keep a very, very busy schedule. So, hey, if you're an entrepreneur, there's an employee problem, or something happened at work, or we got in a car crash, or there was traffic, or any number of reasons that kept you from voting that day. And that percentage is what they're going to take advantage of, because guaranteed, again, all of the liberals, not all of them, but a lot of them, many of them, are using mail-in ballots, voting in advance. You guys need to do the same so we get out the vote. But one of the big things that they're pushing now, Tom, is it okay to segue into the Project 2025?
Yes, I do. But you just mentioned Renata again. Mike, I've got a picture of Renata here. If Layla can pull it up, because Renata is going to be on our show tomorrow.
Renata, we didn't ask your permission to show this publicly, so hopefully you're okay with that. But this is the wonderful Renata De Silva, who we're going to be launching a show for very, very soon. She is part of our talent. She is also part of our team. Yes. She's amazing. She's dynamic. She's a great speaker. I think we need to get her voice out more, and we love having the female voice in there. But
she's coming on tomorrow's show. I mean, we've talked about that.
She will be there.
So you said, hey, we got to get Renata's opinion on this. So tune in tomorrow, because we'll get Renata and her co-host on our show tomorrow.
Kenton Young.
What's that?
Kenton Young.
Kenton Young. We just don't have a picture of Kenton, but you guys will start to know her more. So I thought I'd put that face up, Mike, because we mentioned her twice, and I just didn't want to wait too much longer. So yeah, let's go ahead and bring in 2025, because there is so much false misinformation about Project 2025.
Okay, so that's the third one over Yep, there you go. Let's bring that up real quick. Okay, so Trump claims not to know who is behind Project 2025. CNN review found at least 140 people who worked for him are involved. So let me address first of all this headline, because I found this headline very, very interesting. Of course, this is by CNN, the Communist News Network, and so I run a business. I'm a small business owner. Tom is a small business owner. We're small business owners. We do not have nearly the people on our team and our staff that Trump does, and yet we don't know everything every single one of them is doing every day. Do we, Tom?
No.
Okay. So how would you expect Trump, who not only is the ex-president and as president had thousands of people underneath him, and as a business owner has at least hundreds of people underneath a multi-billion-dollar business empire, to know everything that's going on with every single one of them. So there's 3 or 4 points I want to make about this Project 2025. First of all, and this has been said by many people out there in the media, first in the non-woke media, the non-legacy media, it's frankly a non-story, because really what's in Project 2025 is one, a list of conservative people, a list of conservative values, and they're using this term, Tom, which you've heard before, and you can go ahead and comment on this if you'd like, not that you need my permission to do so, but it's a policy handbook, right? But they're using this term Christian nationalism, which frankly, we are a nation. And I was listening to Brandon Tatum talk this morning about this. We are a nation, and we're a Christian nation, right? And we are founded as a Christian nation, regardless of what the liberals want to tell you or want you to believe. So what is a Christian nationalist? Frankly, I don't necessarily know that I know the entire definition. Tom, if you do, you go ahead and pipe in. But they're saying, oh, this idea is Christian nationalism. It's a policy handbook. It's a list of conservative people, and if anybody thinks that the new president and every new president doesn't change staff when they come in the office, you're delusional. Right. So, of course, he's going to change staff. Of course, Biden changed staff when he came into office. Of course, the next president after Trump will change staff when they come into office. But but second of all, this was produced by a think tank or a group of think tanks. Right. So they're basically more or less, this has been something that's been going on for years. They have a name for it. They've grabbed onto something because the legacy media, as Ben so aptly referred to it, has been pushing an agenda, and they're grasping at straws, trying to scare people. But the think tanks did what think tanks do. They did think tanky stuff, right? So this has been something that's been going on ever. I don't know how to say how far back, but for a very long time, putting out, hey, this is the policies we think you should enact. These are the people we think you should hire. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's being run by Trump. But third of all, Trump said that he doesn't know who these people are, and that just is what it is. So why are we making this a story? Because they want to use scare tactics to scare people, and that's what the media does. So I mean, and I'm going to call a chicken and an egg an egg. The two things that people do in the media: the liberal media wants to scare everybody, and the conservative media, frankly, wants to piss everybody off, and that's just the game.
Mike, we all know that it's not Kamala. I mean, I think they've circled the wagon. I think George Clooney even throwing his hat in the ring, like, you got to get out. Schumer. All these people are now backing up because they're towing the party line, because that's what the Democrats do. That's why 5 of these Democrats that voted for a voter identification blows me away. To get 5 of them to cross is crazy. But they want to scare people because they haven't got a candidate. That's really what they've got. I mean, at one point they're going to sink back up. They always do. Mm-hmm. Because Kamala, I think, got really excited for a moment and said, "Oh, it's me now," thinking about who I'm going to have for VP. Well, unless they come out and, like you said, Mike, at the beginning of our show, deny their claims that he was fine, and some are still saying he's fine. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. They're just trying to throw out a scare tactic. I do hope, Mike, I'm going to say this. I do hope, because last time Trump won in 2016. I don't think he went far enough. I don't think he knew how deep the swamp really went in DC. I think it went to levels that he had no idea of. And I do believe that when he gets back in, he's going to clean house a little deeper, which he needs to be. I mean, honestly, we're looking at all the corruption in the Biden administration that has a little different handle on some of these acronym agencies. So Trump needs to go a little farther with some of this, and they're trying to blame it and say, see, we told you so with this Project 2025. There's so many fallacies in it, Mike. Like you said it well. Trump cannot know what 140 people who allegedly said they worked under him, or CNN said worked under him, because you can't
140 out of thousands.
Yes. Hey, Mike, can we play this video that I found from?
Yes, we can.
From your great state of California, because I think it's just one small example of the new representation of the Democratic Party. They are trying to paint their face. I mean, they are trying to present a new face, Mike. They really are. And they're touting Gavin Newsom. But this is something that is just happening, reported on by LA News, of a, Mike, I think they have went above themselves with this one. So let's just watch it. It's about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So just hang with us.
Homeless shelter featuring apartments with skyline views, a gym, even a cafe.
Eyewitness News reporter Mark Cotaropolis joins us here in studio with details on this.
We're going to show you what $165 million will get you. It's considered affordable housing, but the cost to build this type of a project, it still adds up. Each unit costs nearly $600,000, and it's being funded by taxpayers. Take a look at the images here. There are 278 units in this 19-story development known as the Weingart Tower. It's intended to help people currently without shelter on Skid Row. This will be LA's largest permanent supportive housing project. There is an entire floor of offices for caseworkers, and the list of amenities is pretty impressive. As you mentioned, there's a gym, an art room, a music room, and a computer room and library. People living here will enjoy 6 common balconies and a cafe. The $165 million project is receiving permanent financing from Proposition HHH, which voters overwhelmingly passed in 2016. The new tower is also receiving state housing funds and $56 million in state tax credits. The grand opening set for later this morning. Several elected officials are going to be there, including Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. And guys, this is really just the beginning. There's more planned. Another tower more than a year away, but it's under construction.
So they said it. It's taxpayer dollars. It's affordable housing. Mike, I don't know about you, but I
don't know if it's affordable housing, but
so I saw how beautiful they are. Have you been down with me at Skid Row? You and I were there last year.
Yeah.
You almost
got in a fight.
You almost got me in a fight. We've shared that on a show before, because I was on the phone and a homeless guy, which we were down on Century Boulevard, we're Wilshire Boulevard, and we were at a crosswalk, and I was stopped, and apparently this homeless man, because there was a huge tent city across the street, and he was mad dogging you, Mike. And you pulled the visor down and quit making eye contact, which made him mad, and he came over and started yelling at me through the window. So we have these people that are out there. We've all seen the tent cities, and now you've got this beautiful building. Who is going to keep that clean? Who's going to keep the art room? Who can you imagine these guys in the gym? Now, I'm all about people who need to be given a hand up, not a handout. But this seems like a major handout. And I'm just thinking in my mind, because there again, because the blinders have been ripped off, the curtain's been pulled back on all the corrupt politicians. I think there's a select number of people that are going to be getting housing here that may not be getting housing there. If they're calling it homeless, affordable housing for $165 million of taxpayer money. They said that, right, Mike? And when they say that taxpayers unanimously voted for it. In California, it's a one-party system. Mike, am I lying on that one? I mean,
not for a second. I think that's very obvious to everybody that's paying any attention to California.
If you put something, and they got Prop 47 coming out in the election coming up, where it's going to come out and make some of these vandals pay for the crimes they're committing, and that was sold to us as a bill of goods. Cindy Zimmer in Bakersfield, our DA, is behind this. Mike Boudreau is behind it, basically saying that we're going to come and basically take some of those cushy plea deals, no bail stuff off because we were sold a bill of goods. So all you got to do is get San Diego, LA, and San Francisco to vote for it, which are the most populous states in California, and the bill passes. So to get $165 million affordable housing high-rise complex in LA and getting another one which is under construction, and they're proud about that, Mike. And this is I'll bet you Governor Newsom's there.
Yeah. Well, my big question is because we see how because first of all, most of the homeless are, many of them, I don't know that I could say most of them, but many of them are on drugs. Many of them are mentally ill. How long do you think it's going to take for them to destroy this place? Because as you go around Bakersfield, and it's sad what they've done to our city, but as you go around Bakersfield, you see fire after fire after fire nearly every day that's being started by the homeless people. How long do you think it's going to take them to trash this place? How long do you think it's going to take them to potentially even burn this place down? Basically, it's taxpayer money that they're lighting on fire for people, and they're not solving the problem because all they're doing is enabling these people. They're giving them a place to crash and giving them assistance for shooting up for free. They're not helping anybody, and again, this goes back to sad. It's kind of sad, not kind of. It's very sad. This is another tactic being used by the Democrats to keep people in bondage, to keep people in slavery, because they're like, "Hey, we'll give you this house. We want you to vote. Can you vote? Do you think you can vote?" And when you do that, just ignore everybody else except for the Democrats.
You know, Mike. It's interesting when it comes out and they tout it. Now in Bakersfield, we do know, and I know this because I've worked with the homeless community closely my 31 years in the ministry. Part of our church, which has a big footprint in Bakersfield, and a lot of the new navigation centers are half full.
Yeah.
I mean, so if this place gets half full, because basically, I like you said, I remember when the fire was set under the 10 freeway where they almost thought they were going to have to close it down. I mean, these are perils that we're going to be up against in this new affordable housing unit for $600,000 a unit. That's what I heard, Mike. I mean, my ears were trained on that, but it was touted like, hey, we did a good thing. Now, I don't say helping. I'm not saying that not helping these people is the right thing. We need to help them, but I'm not sure this is an extravagant way of doing it. But then can we really trust the people that are doing it to make sure the right people get the things they need in this?
They're not actually helping them, Tom. They're just enabling, because I do agree these people need a place to stay, but they need to be cleaned up, and they need to get off of the drugs. They need help with their mental health issues, and frankly, and this is something Tom and I both believe in. They need Jesus, right? You know, and maybe some of them have it, and maybe some of them have strayed or walked away, but the fact remains, you know, like. These people are sitting in filth, a lot of times in urine and feces and garbage and everything else. And all this does, without doing some of the other things that need to be done, all this does is enable them to continue to live that way. And Tom, that's not a way for anybody to live. It's sad. And then my next question is, and this is just a question because I don't know, but I'd love to hear what all of you guys think that are watching this. How long do you think it'll take before they start housing illegals there?
Well, I think right off the bat, Mike, because the California has become the place that the migrants are going, since Texas did a great job in shutting down the part of their border, and they got pushed back from the Biden administration on that. But now that they're finding, there again, the pushback always comes from the easy targets. California is saying, come on in. So why wouldn't they put people up there? And this goes back even further to, the governor of California. As he's now found out that he has a deficit, he's now pulling the money back in. He did it by pulling the mental health money that he'd given to the cities during the pandemic back to the state level. So you've got to know that there's not the care at the city level that there was before. And he's also pulling that money back because he's trying to balance the budget to make himself look good for a presidential run. I think he was that guy that was like the wrestler that they were going to tag if they could bring him in, but people were pushing back too hard because of the condition the state of California is in. I don't think this makes it better.
No, it doesn't. But you mentioned the open borders, and frankly, we don't have a border in California. But I almost half expect that Gavin's running shuttles back and forth between the Mexico side of the border and the American side of the border. Hey, if you're coming here illegally, you get expedited entry, and if any of you guys across that border, coming back into America takes much longer than going south. Tom, you know that as well. And I don't mean like a little bit longer. I mean like 5 times as long. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Gavin Newsom or the liberals in California, especially, running shuttles to get the illegals here faster because they need more votes because the Republicans are going to win by a landslide based on current data. Now we all know again that we're gonna see some shenanigans coming. We all know there's an October surprise coming. Can't say what it is, but not because I know and I'm not telling you guys, but because we don't know. And frankly, I don't think very many people know, if any. But there's something that's going to come, right? So again, I'm gonna say this again. Get out and vote early because your vote matters. And the sooner you can vote, that's one more vote that's in, and you can check that off your list.
Only 4 months, Mike. 4 months. And so there again, Mike, we all know California is a one-party state, and they're going to get all the electoral votes from California. And that's why we're trying to help Mike Boudreau, because the Sheriff of Tulare County, who's now got a national presence in a congressional race that he's now, supported Vince Fong in, he wants to turn California red, and he wants to use some of his influence within the sheriff's departments to get conversations going on at the county levels all through California. And I think that's a great plan, Mike. I think that's one of the most effective plans I've heard about putting boots on the ground for the state of California, is letting people know that their local sheriffs are the highest elected law enforcement official out there, and they are the ones that will enforce the people's will within those counties.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is, Mike. So hey, I've had a great time with you again today. Time is waning from us, but there again, we have Renata joining us tomorrow.
Are we bringing Tiffany on?
Yeah. We were going to talk about it. There's some stories that sometimes we have to bump, because we're presenting these things, and Mike and my conversation will go a certain way. But there was a big Lego seizure, and by the police, because they confiscated 4,000 stolen Lego sets that equal $200,000. And I'm going to bring my wife on because she has a resale business, and she can shed light on why Legos are so expensive.
They're absolutely crazy expensive. My 10-year-old, who he's considered a junior hire now, which is absolutely nuts. But he's very much into Legos, and he's been begging me, "Hey, Dad, I want this $80 Lego set." I was like, "Good grief, $80? You can spend $80 on Legos?" And he loves Legos, and he's so amazing at it. But anyway, I want to again push the Believer Summit.
Yeah.
Renata's dropped some codes and some links in the comments. Hashtag 511 Media. If you want to be entered in the drawing for one of the VIP tickets, you guys are going to love it. And thank you guys for watching. Get out there and vote, because your vote matters. And Tom, you have any last words before we wrap up?
I just want to say that God's still on the throne.
Amen.
there again, the word tells us that His grace and mercies are new every morning, and we can grab onto those. None of this stuff that's going on has rattled Christ. None of it. None of them has rattled the God of the universe. There again, if you don't have a relationship, you need a relationship, because let's sum this up, Mike. We are strong supporters of the conservative Republican philosophy.
Really?
And President Trump is going to be the candidate that is going to bring back those values. But they're still just men. Our eyes can't just be on them. Our eyes have to be a whole different place, because that eternal life is way more important than the temporal physical one. But it does matter. So please don't think that I'm erasing everything we've said for the last
hour.
minutes. Yeah. So
yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. God bless.